People judge you faster than you think. Not in a few seconds, not even in 1 second. Your brain evaluates someone in 1/10 of a second. Before you speak, before you move, before you even realize someone is looking at you. Their brain has already decided if you're trustworthy, likable, confident, nervous, interesting, or someone to avoid. And the funny part? You're doing the exact same thing to everyone else, without even noticing. First impressions are automatic, fast, deeply rooted in the way your brain works, like tiny ninjas silently judging everyone around you. To understand why, we need to go back, way back, to how the human brain evolved. Your brain isn't trying to be rude, it's trying to keep you alive. Thousands of years ago, meeting a stranger wasn't a casual handshake, or a coffee. It could mean danger. So humans developed a survival mechanism: judge fast, or risk being harmed. That instinct still exists today. Even though our daily threats are more likely to be a passive-aggressive coworker than a saber-toothed tiger, your brain still thinks quick judgment equals safety. It reacts instantly, picking up on even the smallest cues, like a hyper-alert gossip columnist in your head. But these quick judgments aren't based on solid information. They're built on shortcuts, little mental rules your brain uses to save time and energy. One of these shortcuts is the halo effect. If someone seems confident, your brain assumes they're smart. If someone looks organized, your brain assumes they're reliable. Someone is attractive, congratulations. Your brain assumes they're kind, successful, socially skilled. You're not actually evaluating them, you're filling in the blanks with assumptions that feel true, even if they might not be. Your brain also uses memories and past experiences, without asking you. You might like someone instantly because they remind you of a friend, or feel uncomfortable because they resemble someone who once hurt you. It's not logical, but logic left the building a long time ago. Your brain groups people into categories as fast as possible, even if the categories are unfair or inaccurate. Pattern matching, mixed with instinct, running automatically in the background. Think of it as a tiny, opinionated robot you didn't hire. Stereotypes also play a role, even when you don't want them to. The brain likes shortcuts more than accuracy. Stereotypes save mental energy, letting your brain use old information instead of analyzing someone new from scratch. Not because your brain wants to judge, but because it wants to process the world quickly. These mental shortcuts keep you moving, but they can also lead to huge misunderstandings. Sorry, brain. The most frustrating part? Once your brain makes a first impression, it doesn't want to change it. Confirmation bias kicks in. Your brain wants to be right, so it searches for evidence that supports its first impression. If someone seemed unfriendly at first, every neutral action suddenly looks cold. If someone seemed warm, you conveniently ignore their red flags. Your brain is basically defending its first instinct like a stubborn lawyer with a caffeine addiction. And this entire process happens instantly, automatically, silently. You're not aware of it, but it shapes your relationships, your choices, and the way you see people every single day. You judge fast because your brain believes speed is safer than accuracy. That's the psychology behind first impressions, and why they feel so powerful. Now that you understand how fast first impressions form, let's talk about what actually creates them. Because your brain isn't just guessing randomly, it's scanning a whole list of tiny signals, most of which you don't even realize you're giving off. These signals shape how people see you before you say a single meaningful word. One of the biggest cues is your body language. Humans are experts at reading posture, even if we don't consciously think about it. When someone stands with open shoulders, relaxed movements, the brain interprets that as confidence and safety. But if someone crosses their arms, hunches forward, or keeps their movements tight and small, the brain might read that as nervousness or defensiveness. It doesn't mean the person actually is nervous, they might just be cold or uncomfortable. But your brain reacts instantly anyway. Facial expressions matter more than people think. Tiny microexpressions, those split-second flashes of emotion, are incredibly powerful. Even if someone tries to hide how they feel, their face gives away traces that the brain picks up. A quick lift of the eyebrows can signal friendliness. A small downward turn of the mouth can signal discomfort. A tense jaw can signal stress. You might not notice these details consciously, but your brain catches them and uses them to build an impression. Eye contact is another huge factor. Too little eye contact and the brain thinks someone is hiding something or is unsure. Too much eye contact and the brain thinks someone is aggressive or intense. Balanced eye contact, steady but relaxed, sends the message that someone is confident, open, present. You don't have to stare into someone's soul. Just showing that you're engaged makes a big difference. Tone of voice plays a role too. People don't just judge what you say, they judge how you say it. A warm, stable tone makes others feel comfortable. A flat or rushed tone might make someone seem anxious or uninterested. Even the rhythm of your speech affects how people perceive you. Slow and steady feels confident. Fast and choppy can feel nervous. Again, none of this means the person actually is nervous or confident, it's just how the brain interprets signals. Clothing and appearance also influence first impressions. Not because of fashion, but because the brain uses visual cues to guess personality traits. Someone who looks put together is often judged as responsible. Someone who dresses creatively is judged as expressive. Someone who looks tired or disorganized might be judged as stressed or overwhelmed. The brain makes these assumptions automatically, even if they're completely misleading. Context also shapes impressions. Meeting someone at a party creates different expectations than meeting them in a workplace or on the street. The brain uses the environment as a guide to interpret behavior. A quiet person at a social gathering might seem shy. The same person in a professional setting might seem calm and thoughtful. It's the same behavior, but the environment changes how your brain reads it. Humans are sensitive to energy, how someone feels in the moment. Not spiritual energy, emotional energy. Someone who seems comfortable makes others feel comfortable. Someone who seems stressed can make others tense. Emotions are contagious, and the brain mirrors them quickly. So if you enter a room with grounded, calm energy, people often read you positively, without even knowing why. And here's the part most people forget. Your own mindset affects the impression you give off. If you're worried about being judged, your body tightens up, your voice changes, your face shows tension. People don't necessarily know the cause. They just feel something is off. But if you're relaxed and present, your natural signals communicate authenticity, and authenticity makes people feel safe. All of these factors, posture, expressions, tone, energy, context, mix together in seconds. Your brain takes all these fragments and builds a story about who the person is. Even if that story is completely inaccurate, feels real. That's why first impressions are so powerful. They're built on tiny details your brain takes very seriously. Understanding how first impressions work is powerful. But the real question is, how do you manage them? And what do you do when someone already has a fixed opinion of you? The truth is, you can't control every detail, but you can influence the signals people pick up. And more importantly, you can understand how your own brain reacts to others. First, let's talk about influencing the impression you give. You don't need to perform or pretend to be someone you're not. What people respond to most is authenticity, mixed with awareness. When you're comfortable being yourself, your body language naturally reflects confidence. Your movements become smoother, your tone warmer, your face relaxes. People aren't looking for perfection. They're looking for someone who feels real. When you're grounded, people sense it immediately. Small adjustments go a long way. Standing or sitting with an open posture makes you appear approachable. Keeping your face relaxed prevents tension from being misread. Speaking at a calm pace makes your presence feel stable. These aren't tricks. They're ways to align your inner state with the message you want to send. If your internal energy matches your external signals, people perceive you clearly instead of guessing. Another key part is being present. When you truly listen, people feel understood. When you look at someone while they speak, not staring, just paying attention, they feel valued. Most people walk around feeling invisible. So when you give someone your full presence, even for a moment, you create a powerful impression that lasts far longer than your posture or appearance. But what about the opposite situation? When you're the one making the quick judgment, this is where self-awareness becomes essential. Your brain will instantly label people, but you don't have to accept that label as truth. The moment you catch yourself deciding someone's personality before you know them, remind yourself it's just a mental shortcut, not a fact. Curiosity is stronger than bias. When you stay curious, you allow the person in front of you to reveal who they truly are, instead of letting your brain decide for you. Sometimes, first impressions become self-fulfilling. If you think someone is unfriendly, you might act distant. They sense your distance, respond with their own, confirming your original belief. But if you approach people with an open mind, you break that cycle. You give both yourself and the other person a chance to show more than the first few seconds of interaction. Here's a surprising truth. Changing someone's first impression of you is possible, but it takes consistency. One positive interaction won't erase a negative first impression, but repeated behavior, authentic, steady, genuine, can rewrite the mental image someone has formed. It's not a quick fix, but the brain updates its judgments when new evidence becomes too strong to ignore. Another important piece. First impressions say as much about the observer as they do about the person being observed. Sometimes you misjudge people because of your own mood, insecurities, or past experiences. If you're stressed, you might view others more negatively. If you're confident, you might view others more positively. Your brain isn't just evaluating others, it's filtering them through your internal state. This is why being aware of your emotions helps you see people more accurately. In the end, first impressions are a mix of instinct, biology, psychology, and personal history. They are fast, flawed, deeply human. You can't stop your brain from making them, but you can understand how they work, manage the signals you send, and stay open instead of locked into assumptions. Once you realize how automatic these judgments are, you start seeing people with more compassion. You stop expecting perfection from yourself. When meeting someone new, you stop assuming others have you figured out from one glance. You start giving people room to be more than the story your brain created for them. And that shift alone improves your relationships, your confidence, and the way you move through the world. Now you know why people judge so fast, why those judgments stick, and how you can work with your brain instead of being controlled by its instincts. Understanding first impressions doesn't just help you look better. It helps you connect better, understand better, and live with more awareness.